TiffanieRo.info.
I'm Tiffany Ro.
TiffanieRo.info.
The best in edutainment.
.info. TiffanieRo.info. .info. TiffanieRo.info. Tiffany Ro.
Truth, no bull.
Information is power.
Tiffany Ro. TiffanieRo.info.
Hey, it's your girl TiffanieRo.info. Oh my God. And today it's just needed to be a little cozy today. So we are doing the show just a tad bit differently, but got my girl Tiffany Co that's in the studio. I'm on assignment. So I'm going to be back and forth for a few shows. But for today, Tiffany Co's in the studio. Tiffany Ro's on assignment. And oh my goodness. Okay. We are still dealing with the reality TV of life, with the political climate. So right now, we have it that it looks as if Joe Biden is swaying that way. I know we're doing some recounting of the votes, and Kamala Harris is now going to be perhaps our new VP, first woman, forget about the brown woman, first woman to be vice president of the United States of America. From my understanding, Israel also called Biden up and congratulated him. So it seems like it's going in that direction. However, we still don't have a concession speech from Donald Trump. And so I don't know. And we have a lot of people that are really concerned about, did every vote get count? Did anything happen? Was there fraud with our voting system? All of those different things. However, did you guys see Saturday Night Live this weekend with Dave Chappelle hosting? Tiff, are you out there? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Did you see Dave Chappelle's show this weekend?
I can tell you I did not see the show.
Did not see it.
I did not. I saw a clip of it.
It was it was fire. It was funny. It was edutainment. You know,
I did see a clip of it.
Educational and entertainment at the same time. However, I could see some people, it was like the jokes fell hard. It was, sometimes he gets a little harsh with his comedy and harsh with the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
However, I really totally had no problems with it. I laughed. I think when I was supposed to laugh, I realized the storyline in which he was going, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Speaking of that, I mean, he actually is one of the people that are huge donors to HBCUs, and this is around that time in our world. If you are a college and you go to HBCU, this is homecoming time. Homecoming time is what you live for. If you saw Beyonce's show Homecoming, that's where she got the concepts from, with the drum lines and with the girls dancing and with the horn section and the strings and everything and the marching and the choreography and the colors and the batons and the flips and all of that. And this year, based on, the climate of our world with COVID, there's going to be virtual, I think, virtual homecomings. And it's just not the same. If you've ever been to a Grambling game or any of those, Howard, Spelman, Clark, Cheney, I'm shouting out to some of the schools I know. I feel for you young people that are, waited your whole life, worked so hard so that you could be a part of this experience, and you're missing out because, again, of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
COVID numbers, they're rising. We're starting to see that, again, be careful out there. My real estate professionals, Bayro for life. My Bayro real estate agents, we talk about it. Wear your mask, wear your gloves, wipe down surfaces, spray. If you don't have Lysol, get some alcohol, put it in a with your face, pump. And I still have. But I still have one that my good friend gave me. Tiff, thank you. spray it in your car when you're finished showing a property, or even if you go into the grocery store, bring your own or wipe down. I mean, again, to each his own. I just don't want anybody not well. And if
I
it's
know
these
that
small
bottle.
things that make a difference, let's make a difference. Tiff, what have you been seeing out there as far as, have you been seeing people, the mask thing getting a little more lax? Do you see that that's getting a little bit more lax within, just being out there and
I try not to go out there a lot. But
mm-hmm,
I do
mm-hmm,
see a difference in the numbers and it rising. So I do tell people to be careful. I tell my daughter who's out there
mm-hmm.
just to make sure that she has the hand sanitizer. I make sure that in my car I have a sanitizer on both sides of the car for anybody that comes in and out. We always make sure that we know who's around us at all times. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we're just making sure that we're wearing our mask at all times. I know
And that
on.
we're just safe, as best as possible. For those who don't know, Tiffany Co, she's part of the Ensemble Women, my sistership. We do a
Mhm.
show every Sunday, and you can find us on Facebook. It's also Tiffany Row. We stream it, but it's under genesisradio.com. So,
Mhm.
again, I know people know, but we want to just make sure we're putting it all together.
Yes.
But with what everything that is happening, and I actually am the diversity chair for the MLS board in our area, Pocono Mountain Association Realtors. And I was just elected secretary treasurer. Someone told me I might be the first African American woman to that seat. I don't know. I didn't investigate that. But if so, hey, hey, that's a wonderful thing. And hopefully, as Kamala says, I'll take my acceptance speech. I hope I'm not I know I won't be the last. I may be
Relax.
the first, but I will
Congratulations.
not be the last.
Hmm.
So yes, that happened today. But I wanted to share, the thing is, one of the things that Joe Biden had mentioned, and so did Obama. I actually have to say, a lot of people take a lot of narratives from Obama's speeches, whether you liked him or don't like him. A lot of people, a lot of our leaders, or a lot of people that speak, take plugs from his speeches. And he did say with his acceptance speech, as well as Joe Biden, who accepted the nomination accepted to be a president elect. Again, we don't have a concession yet. He wants to be everyone's president. Um, that is what I think, that's a beautiful thing. I think that is the type of whomever, that's the movement that should go forward.
Hmm.
The connective, everybody connecting together. So today I'm bringing on Christopher Murray, who is here with us today. And Christopher is a veteran. Happy Veterans Day to Christopher Murray with that
Happy Veterans Day.
fabulous
Thank you
beard.
so much. I appreciate it,
And he
ladies.
is Marine Army. He's also in law enforcement. And Christopher, so again, Christopher is more, I guess, let's just say more voted for Trump, or more for the Trump position. And I wanted, again, there's so many people that are this, it is so divided. And so I say that to say this whole half, because it really is almost half. When you split a few million here and then, same thing even with Hillary and when and when Trump ran, it really was close. When it's that close, are we so to each other's side, or are we so all trying to get to such a middle that, but it's hard to step over that line to say, you know what, I'm going to hear your side and get over here with you, but I expect you to come over here with me sometimes. So I kind of wanted to hear from Christopher, especially because the military background. Tell me your thoughts about what's happening with the climate right now.
I mean, so if we look at like the climate of America, I think it's, I can say do see divide, whether it's from the left or the right. I mean, if you look at you know tables of their positions and where they have ended up on those positions, you can see there's a clear divide. Um, I mean, not so much with, I guess, like people like me who don't care who you vote for or what your political like beliefs are, because if you're my friend regardless of who you vote for or what you believe in. If I consider you a friend, you're going to be a friend.
Right.
But I would say that you can see there's a divide, and it's a divide that's very ostracizing to the moderate people, the more centric people who believe in whether it's social change and Republican policies on money or vice versa. Um, you know, you know, there's a big disenfranchisement between those people, the centrists, and then these people who are on the extremes of the left and the right. So
So when you say the left and the right, so here we have. For me,
Mhm.
I go on election day. I stood out there 2.5 hours almost. I swear, it was like one of the coldest days, and I didn't anticipate it to be that cold. So, because it was one of those days where the day before wasn't so cold, and then all of a sudden, so I came up there with a sweatshirt when I really needed a fur coat. And I stood out there and I voted. Me personally, I will say, and I got flack for this. I don't vote straight party. I'm not per. I just I kind of try to do my best to assess who is running and what
Mhm.
they talk about. I don't agree with everything that anybody
Anybody
says.
says
I don't agree with
exactly.
everything that anybody says.
I agree, Tiff. That's me. I don't.
But
Yeah,
mhm,
I don't vote straight party.
mhm, mhm. So I kind of got yelled at by people who had an assumption that I should.
Mm-hmm.
You. How can you get anything done if you don't do this? You don't do that. So, and again, I said, well, I'm not saying I'm right with it. I'm saying my journey up until this point,
Mm-hmm.
this is how I'm choosing. Now, that being said, I had an issue with some of the conversations that I had seen Donald Trump have
No.
when it comes to, and again, brown people. That's Tiffany having this conversation.
Right.
So there's and I say that, Chris, in this way. And I always, this was, when my parents had me, they didn't know they were having a girl. They didn't know they was going to have a radio personality. They didn't know they was going to have a celebrity hairstylist and now broker. But they knew a brown baby was coming out, something. And there's things that I've seen, that I've heard, that I've witnessed, that even though there might even be some economic conversations that he has that I
Mm-hmm.
agree with, that was my journey. And again, maybe because I live in this skin, I have a different kind of attachment to it or not. How do we how do we get past those things? Because that might be the hindrance of someone hearing somebody, hey, I've grown up since then. Oh, I've done this and I've done that. How do we get to that point where we can push through that? Because I know a lot of people that did not support him. That's the issue, a big issue, and then they feel that if you did support, you're my enemy.
No, I definitely understand that, and I do see that a lot. See, but I think more so it's like I think me I look more so policy wise and things that have gotten accomplished. Like like one of the biggest things for me is definitely is is looking at like the criminal justice field in general and doing reforms to it, right? So when I see that, in the past 4 years, we have had the lowest incarceration rates of minorities, especially minorities at that, I see that as a win because it means that something is going right that is then perpetuating, this 31-year low. So, and that's what I look for. I look for what's going on policy wise. I look at what's going on around the world that we're having positive effects on. So when, like I said, when I look at the First Step Act, when I look at 31-year low incarceration rates for Black and Hispanics, I see that something for for our communities in general, for the Hispanic community, for the Black community, have been done, because there's a reason that you're going from the past 16 years of nothing but high incarceration rates to now all of a sudden one of the biggest drop offs. Upwards, they're saying upwards until like 35 to like 40% of people, of less people being incarcerated. So now you have to look at what's causing this. And for me, in general, it's like I look at all the policies that have been in place. I tell people, does he say super shit? Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, he does. He does, and he says stupid stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, what are his policies and what are they doing to affect the community? And as
So
far
let me
as affecting, in terms of affecting minority communities, the minority communities has been very positive outcomes due to policies. So
what policy did he put in place that you think affected that?
So when you look at incarceration rates, there's a lot of things that go into play for incarceration rates, right? You have to look
Mm-hmm.
at poverty levels. You have to look at
Mm-hmm.
environmental levels. Everything from where these people are growing up at, where they're living at, and stuff like that. And then you have to look at it's sad, but also mental health issues as well are thrown into this pile of what causes incarceration rates, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now when you look at economically, Black, Hispanic, women, like every minority group on average had low 3.5 incarceration rate, unemployment rates, which were the lowest that they've been in, again, the past. This is going back to like the Clinton era. We've had the lowest unemployment. We also had the highest people participating in the economy. So those have big effects on the community, because if you have money, and you are making money, you are less likely to commit crime. That's just like
And that is true. Question in reference to that, because
Mhm.
this is what, again, I'm a woman of a certain age.
Yeah.
According to the sistership, I'm a queen-ager.
Uh-huh.
So looking at the statistics, it rose, the jail inmate situation, incarceration rate rose in 2007 and started dropping significantly
Yeah.
from around 12 and moving forward. Now, the other piece, as far as unemployment, we had such a huge situation that took place during the Bush administration that
Mm-hmm.
filtered into the beginning of the Obama administration. And from me being mindful
Mhm.
of when someone puts something in place, especially at the presidency level, it takes about 2 to 5 years for you to see the outcome. So, with that being said, do you not feel that what Obama had done for 8 years, 4 years ago, had but some tried to catapult some of the achievements that Donald Trump was able to work off of in the beginnings and towards the middle of his reign as president, and then what he's been doing since then. And again, I know that it has gone down, but again, we've had a shutdown too, so it's
Yeah.
not too many people out there doing too much. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yeah, at the same level. Like this
So
summer, most, especially in the East
yeah.
Coast, we have more crime in the summertime because everybody's out, it's hot, whatever, and it hasn't been like that. So I think we have a couple of things to help that conversation. However, with the incarceration situation, and this is, again, I'm a woman of a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
I was a child when he did go, kind of put out there for the Central Park Five and put that full page ad out. and
So
was
so the
speaking
central
a
part.
lot about that.
Oh,
And
sorry.
then they became the exonerated five.
Yeah.
You didn't hear anything from him. I'm not he and at that time he's an entertainer. So he's not the president. He's a real estate developer and an entertainer. Whether he says something or doesn't say anything,
Mhm.
it would have been maybe cool or not, but now he's a public servant. He's the president. Netflix brings out the mini series of it. So
Right.
now it's a little bit more global.
Mhm.
Um, and he still says, well, I think they got it wrong. Or this is where I say the struggle for me is that
Yeah.
the guys were the state said he was innocent. So how I just feel that for me,
Mhm.
if he would have said, I got it wrong.
No, I can definitely agree with you on that. I think that was that's one of the things I do criticize him for.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I can see both. There's two. There's always two lenses to this thing. Like at the time he made the publish that he did publish that he believed that he was right, and then
Mm-hmm.
as more information came out, what was it? I forgot when they were exonerated, and what was it, like 20 years later or 10 years?
Yeah,
It was,
like about 16 years later.
yeah. So and
Like some of them did, and they went in as boys, but they went
mhm,
into adult jail. So imagine you're 14, 15, 16. Imagine you being 14, 15, or 16,
yeah.
and you're in law enforcement, and you go into Rikers Island with
Oh no,
men.
yeah. That I think that was a big, like that whole their whole situation. I mean, there was so many aspects of it that are just so tainted and so bad in general that I wish that nobody would go through that. When it came to the signing of the confessions and stuff like that. And I think and that's why I say fundamentally we do need to fix our criminal justice system, and that's every aspect, from training, with more training for police officers, up until doing stuff to getting results for people who do um who do wrong by these people, you know. So that's the way I look. With Donald Trump, like I said, that was one of my biggest things. Like, how do you not I get it. I guess his frame of mind. I can't speak for him, but what I would think is that he just thinks it's so long ago that it is what it is. He can't take back what he did, but a sorry would have would have
But
helped.
he can't take back what he did.
Hmm.
However, there's a lot of people that voted for him. So we give him another 4 years to do it all again. So what happens if he did win? And the animosity that he has created within this 4 years that he was president. So
It's,
what happens then
yeah.
if he had won this time? So all these people that voted for him, what happens if he had won? So we believe these people that voted for him, they believe in his policies, but now we're divided so much that we're going to allow him to continue to divide us. So
But this is my
you
thing about the whole.
disagree with
Uh, no, I see
you
what you're
disagree
saying. My
with
whole
it.
thing about
Mhm.
but my whole thing about the divide is I
Uh-huh.
wouldn't say that, like I said, he's done stuff that I can say that haven't been helpful to either side. But I think for the
Mhm.
most part, if you look at it, it's really the media in general who does a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
dividing with the way that they frame things, the way that they talk. Like, I hate the media, and that's just me personally. I don't watch any mainstream media. I try to limit it as much as I can, because I see what they do. Like, I see the words that they use and what they do, because it's for them, it's all about ad revenue. And the best way to get ad revenue for them right now
Mhm.
is Trump. And that's just real. Like, I follow more people I follow a lot more independent journalists who are there on the streets doing a lot of this work, who are there and being the most nonpartisan that they can be. They're not choosing sides. They're not choosing left. They're not choosing right. They're choosing to tell the stories of what they are for the truth. So when we talk about divide, I mean, like I said, he has done stuff and he has said stuff that's kind of like, yeah, you shouldn't have. But I don't think it's to the extent of what the media then perpetuates and puts out
Okay.
there, because the media puts so much stuff out there and I mean, like, under this presidency, they've had to retract more stories than under any other presidency that they've had. Even under the Obama administration, even under the Bush administration, the media
Well,
has had to retract and fix more stories than any other presidency.
let
And it's
me
because
let
it's
me
not about
share.
telling the truth. It's about
Let me
being first. So
about being first, and
for the
that is true. But I
Mhm.
and
will
that's
say, in reference to Donald Trump,
Mhm.
he is an entertainer. He
Right. Right.
understands. He knows his camera angles. He knows how to present in a
Mhm.
certain way.
it
That's
does.
what I
Mhm.
think. As much as you have severe 100% valid points, he enjoys that, the rush of that, the
Right.
rush of that type. I definitely feel he enjoys it. Now we're moving in a different
Mhm.
direction with, no, we don't have I guess, how it usually would go is you vote, whoever got the most votes, or the electoral votes, what have you,
Mhm.
they deem the winner, but it takes about 30 days ish for each state to like really give the stamp of approval. But because of, without the pomp and circumstance, they usually do. At this point, um, Vice President Biden has accepted. However, it's still weird, and it's the counting of the votes, and we're still in a, there's a semi limbo going on here. I mean,
Right.
I think
Yeah.
the masses are moving for, it's definitely the media, because I just saw Washington Post, Wall Street Journal,
Mhm.
USA Today. Everyone's moving forward as Biden being the
The
president
president.
elect. However, it's still in a sense of limbo, and I am a true believer that every vote counts.
Mhm.
When you know about Selma, and when you know about Tulsa, the burning of Tulsa, when you know about the people that died to get the vote, or sacrificed to get the vote, or walked to get the vote, or marched to get the vote, every
Mhm.
vote counts. So I'm a firm believer of that. In the event that we do move forward with Biden as our president and Kamala Harris as our first woman vice president, I keep saying first woman more than the brown woman, even though I know people want to play that, because the woman thing is amazing on top of. I mean, it's just, you don't have to give her all these titles. It is what it is.
The first woman. Mhm.
First woman. How do we bridge this almost 50-50 harsh conversations? Because people, as happy as people are that Biden and Kamala, and most of these people never met any of these people. I actually have met Donald Trump. I've actually had dinner with Donald Trump. And that's because of the entertainment world, not as the president, as in the entertainment world. But most people have never met these people, never had these moments. But it's this, you have what's the guy on the CNN, the black guy, bald head, he crying,
Oh,
and
Dan
I'm
Jones.
not taking away, if you want to cry, you cry. And it was touching, but however, there's such a passion for this level. Versus, to me, I'm more concerned about my state representatives and my Congress people and my But
Mhm.
Yeah.
however, they're
Same
crying,
here.
and it's this big piece. How do we now bridge together? And I'm going to say, I can't say Republicans and Democrats unless it has gotten that bad, because I feel like Republicans and Democrats have this piece that, if you think about what each one of us wants, we can figure something out. But it's something about Trump. It's like, I know Republicans is like, I'm not a Trump Republican. What is it about that is
So
so make please,
yeah.
I've
So
spoken too much.
no, you haven't. It's, what I would say is that it's because there's a fracture within, I think, both parties in general, both the Republicans and the Democrats. Because now what you have is, like, you have an establishment, like these people who have been in these roles for, you know decades. We're talking about, like, some of these people
Right.
20, 30, 40 years, right? So now what you're starting to see is that you're starting to see a divide between these people who believe in the establishment, and that's where you have like
Mhm.
the the Lincoln Project Republicans, and then you have the people who believe in populism, which are people who are not part of this system at all, who aren't part of
Mhm.
this political, like this political game where everything is done for politics, and